Hi guys, I live in 10 different countries, including 6 that are developing nations. So I want to talk to you about what are the pros of living in a developing nation. Whether you want to retire abroad or you just want to live there and take it more easy, or you're sort of fed up of where you live and you're thinking, well, I'm going to live in a developing nation, it's going to be much more relaxed, rules, laws, everything. Well, let's talk about the pros, and then I'm going to make a video talking to you about the cons, because they are both. All right, so the pros. Well, first of all, services. Okay, yes, it's cheap. I have an Egyptian. Yeah, if you don't know what that is, it's basically like in most countries in the Middle East, they would refer to as the guy who does the cleaning and the building maintenance and stuff like that as an Egyptian. So the guy will live in the building and clean my car twice a week. He's a security guard basically. So if I need anything in the morning to check my daughter when she leaves for school, or make sure that he's there when, like the door is open when she comes back and stuff like that. No issues paying the bills, cleaning the place. If I have any electrical issues or whatever, I can just call him. He comes and fix it right away. This is something that's very readily available, and it's about $70-$80 a month. Then you have your living maid, okay? So if ever you want to retire abroad and you have some physical disability, or you just want to have somebody to help you out with different things, living maid, $300-$400 a month, no issues. Somebody living with you, cooking, cleaning, send her to buy the groceries, take care of the kids, whatever, no issues. Yeah, you can do that in Canada and the US, but if you try, it's going to cost you a fortune. And on top of that, the laws and rules are much different. Here, working 6 days a week, it's not an issue. In Canada, 5 days a week, maximum, 8 hours a day would be something. So if you need her for a longer period of time or something, maybe she's willing to help, maybe not, but it's now you're going into the gray area of you're doing something wrong. The food. If you can do abstraction of buying food that you normally would find, locally at your house, okay, in Canada, US, whatever, yeah, it's going to be super cheap. Now, I understand, like, for example, I live in the Middle East right now, so if I want to have pork, it's going to be super expensive. In some countries, you cannot even have it. Alcohol, very tough to get, stuff like that. I get that, okay? Living in France, I used to have wine every night, and it was super cheap, super great wine. Here, it's virtually impossible to get. So if you can do abstraction of these things, the regular stuff, like you want to buy chicken, beef, and local food, lamb, whatever, you want to buy vegetables, super cheap. The rent. Well, that depends where you are, okay? So that you're going to have to check, because in Jamaica, the rent was super expensive for a very poor quality house. Here, right now, I have a house which is in square feet, 8,000 square feet, so almost 800 square meters. 4th floor with its own elevator. It's absolutely beautiful. If it was in Canada or US, it would worth millions of dollars, and I would never be able to afford the rent on this. Could be $10,000-$15,000, but here, $2,500. When I was living in the Philippines, we had a beautiful apartment with amazing view, and we were paying like $900 a month. We had a pool, we had everything downstairs, gym, everything you can think of, and it was super cheap. So yeah, you could easily live for $1,500 to $2,000 a month, affording everything very easily and living like a king in a developing nation. You can't do that back home. Medical services. Again, you have to check which country you're going into, but if you're in Thailand, Philippines, stuff like that, I mean, my daughter was born in the Philippines. The hospital she was born in was absolutely Star Trek kind of quality, okay? Absolutely amazing. St. Luke Global, absolutely like one of the top-notch hospital I have ever been in, that include the US and Canada, okay? So, and it was very cheap. So if you have medical issues, you can get an insurance, or you can pay for it, and it's gonna cost you way less in developing nations that have that kind of high level of medical insurance and medical technology and knowledge. And the Philippines, stuff like that, Thailand qualify for that. Some countries in the Middle East would have that as well. Private schools. Now, a lot of private schools in developing nations will be manned by Canadian, American, British, in the English-speaking world, that is, or French or Canadian French, if ever you go for a French school. But the idea is this: the quality of study will be very high, and the standard as well, for a very low price compared to doing it in a private school in Canada or US. This is one big advantage of living in developing nations. Another one, it could be considered an advantage or a disadvantage. It depends on your philosophy or what you're doing here, but laws are more relaxed. Okay, so for example, in the case of constructions and stuff like that, yes, I understand that having more relaxed laws in construction could result in less, quality constructions, or same thing with quality of food, for example, right? Having more relaxed laws when it comes to inspections and stuff like that will result in you having maybe some issues, or the country overall having issues with the quality. However, if you're doing business, it's going to be much more relaxed on you. Okay, like for example, I have a friend of mine that left Montreal to go and work in construction in the Middle East for the simple reason that in Canada, with all the laws and unions and taxes and all the restriction, it was becoming a nightmare for him to basically do anything. Okay, and he felt that he was fed up of that, so he basically sold everything, bought everything again anew, and now he's working in Dubai, and it's much easier for him, and he makes way more money. First of all, the construction, the booming and everything is huge, and the laws and everything that he needs to comply with is much less restrictive. It's easier for him to hire and fire people and doing all kinds of construction that he wouldn't be able to do in Canada. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about the cons, but to stay on the pros, guys, if you have the money, okay, because of course, one of the cons is the low salaries, right? That's why you have low services, costs, and stuff like that. But if you have the money, if you're already retired, if you already have income abroad, for example, you work abroad, you could work from home from anywhere on earth or something like that, coders or whatever you're doing, then that's perfectly fine. Then you can live in a developing nation, have way more benefit and advantages for you in order to be able to have a better life. If you have to earn your money locally, yeah, let's talk about that in the next video when I'm talking to you about the cons of living in a developing nation.